right, welcome back, everybody. Today is National First Responders Day, and while we honor these brave individuals, it's also important to understand how we can best support them. So we have Erin Whitaker-Houck for Mental Health Monday, sponsored by LSF Health Systems. So thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate your time. This is very cool.
Thank you for having me.
So let me ask you, why are first responders especially vulnerable to mental health challenges like PTSD, depression, and anxiety?
Well, first responders face things every day on a regular basis that the rest of us really don't have to face. They're exposed to traumatic events, often accidents or life and death situations, things that just normal people don't experience on a regular basis.
Right, and they do that like 5 days a week.
5 days a week, and so all of that stress can cause, their ability to cope to just really, they struggle.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes with first responders, there's like a kind of a tough guy mentality, right?
Yeah.
Where we're supposed to just swallow this instead of actually experiencing it and moving on. And like we were talking about 5 days a week, that's a lot to deal with. It's a lot of trauma.
Yes, absolutely. They often don't feel comfortable reaching out, particularly in their own, agency, because of stigma, feeling like they're maybe unfit or what that might look like for their colleagues.
Gotcha. So what are some warning signs that a first responder might be struggling with their mental health?
So things like noticeable changes in behavior or mood, changes in sleep patterns, if they're not sleeping, if an individual that used to be pretty easygoing is now all of a sudden short-tempered, or just if they're retreating, if they're pulling away from loved ones.
Gotcha. So very noticeable differences in like behavior and stuff like that. We need to really ask what's going on, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So how does LSF Health Systems First Responder Peer Support Program help address the unique mental health challenges faced by first responders?
So LSF's program, we have peer specialists, which really just means somebody who's walked the walk, who has the lived experience, on standby to speak with first responders. So a first responder just simply calls 211, identifies as a first responder, or a retired first responder, a former first responder, or even a family member of a first responder. They can get help as well, and then they're immediately connected with a peer specialist who will walk with them and get them the help they need.
That's got to be really cool, because if you've never experienced something like being a first responder, I got to think it's how do you even connect? Right? Because you were saying, most regular folks, we don't see traumatic things like that 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week kind of thing. So that's got to be really cool. So in your professional opinion, how does confidential peer-based support improve mental health outcomes for first responders, compared to maybe like traditional therapy alone?
Well, it gives them the opportunity to reach out, right? Again, our program is separate from their agency. So many agencies have peer programs like law enforcement or, fire rescue, et cetera. But not everyone feels comfortable reaching out to their agency because, again, stigma and
perhaps
whether or
it'll
not
get back to them, right?
Right, it might get back, and so this is a confidential program outside of their agency where they can get that help. They can connect with someone who has walked the walk, who has lived it, who understands what they're going through,
and come out on the other side.
And come out on the other side.
That's fantastic. All right, Erin. So if folks at home have a first responder that needs some help, or if there is a first responder watching that needs some help, where do they go for more information?
You can call 211 or stayfitforduty.org.
Very cool. Erin, thank you so very much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Every time we have LSF Health Systems on the show, I always learn something very cool. So I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.